Welcome back to episode 21 of Bee's Travelogue. I had tested negative for COVID, so I headed to the Mokpo bus depot around lunchtime, had some McDonald's, and then settled in on the bus for a 4.5-hour bus trip to Busan. I had tried booking the bus tickets online through my phone, but it was very difficult. The school director helped me, but he was also having trouble. In the end, we finally managed to book the tickets, but I wasn't able to get tickets for early in the day. I had to leave around 1 o'clock, which meant that I didn't get to Busan until 5 in the evening. I took a subway from the bus depot, and then I had to switch subways to take another train to get near the Busan train station near Chinatown, where I had booked an Airbnb. Busan is very spread out with many interesting places to see, so I had tried to find a spot that was fairly centered and could easily access transportation. After a little bit of a search, I finally found my Airbnb, which was very cold when I arrived. I had to text with the owner and try to figure out how to raise the temperature. While the room was hopefully warming up, I headed out for exploration and adventure. I headed in the general direction of Busan Tower that I had seen on the map. There were staircases that I kept walking up and down. It was Salal weekend, so I had expected everything to be completely closed, but there were stores open, markets open, which was a happy surprise. I didn't climb every staircase, but I took some very nice pictures of that evening atmosphere. Here's the tower in the distance that kept changing lights. There were streets that had street lights changing colors. I found this Busan Museum of Movies, and finally the stairs leading up to the tower. By the time I reached the top, I was fairly hungry, but when I saw the snacks, they weren't very appealing to me. I bought a ticket and went up to the top and had a beautiful 360-degree view of Busan. I hadn't really known what to expect when I came to Busan, even though I had seen some pictures before and I had watched K-dramas that took place in Busan, but seeing the city laid out in front of me from this far high with all the lights on was really spectacular. I noticed things on the mountaintops that I wanted to explore one day. I didn't really know exactly what I was looking at in each direction, but I could see the bridges with different neon lights and just knew I wanted to see as much as I could while I was there. The ticket to go up on the tower was not very expensive, 12,000 won or about $10. The entire tower was encased in glass, so the view was through the glass pane, but it was still very easy to see everything quite clearly. One thing that happened and I didn't like very much was fireworks being projected onto the window panes. So I sometimes had to wait for those to end before I could continue taking videos or pictures. There were quite a few tourists up there taking photos as well, and someone offered to take my picture in front of the window here. As you can see, despite being still sick with a cold and runny nose, I didn't cough too much and overall didn't feel too poorly. I noticed this monument in the distance and didn't manage to get to it during this trip, but when I returned in October, I made a special point to visit this monument. Here you can see what it looked like being at the top of the tower, the colors changing, and special programs on the walls for people to interact with. When I finally wanted to leave the tower, I first had to get through this room of colorful lights and light shows, which was pretty spectacular in its own way. By this time, I was getting really hungry, so I started looking for food. Since the fried food in Korea wasn't much to my liking, I ended up having this wonderful waffle with walnut ice cream. It was time to head back to my apartment. I took some more pictures outside the tower and then headed up the street, and this time noticed a lot of statues along the way. I also got an unexpected phone call. I had booked a tour for the next day and was trying to get in contact with the organizer to see when I would be picked up. The call was to let me know that because of Solal, they were asking if we could move the tour to not the following day, but the day after. I headed home for some ramen dinner and a cold room and started planning for my next day. Please join me for episode 22 in Busan. Thanks for watching.